Barron on the new Talk Radio 1450 WCTC, the voice of Central Jersey. From politics to entertainment, from social issues to lifestyles, from newsmakers to pop culture. If it's Jersey, it's on Jersey Central with Bert Barron, 732-545-9282. Or toll free at 888-545-9282.
737, we're back on Jersey Central on the new Talk Radio 1450 WCTC, the voice of Central Jersey. It is Bert Barron. Good morning to you. Contest on the way. Going to give away some Globetrotters tickets. They're back in Jersey in January. Also going to give you a chance to score the bonus prize, a Grateful Dead CD as well from their final shows ever, which were this past July in Chicago. Give you a chance to win both prizes coming up. Well, a lot of us at this time of year looking for meaningful gifts for the holidays, but here's a chance to give someone a book about a very simple skill. It could greatly increase a person's chances at being successful in life. How's that for a nice gift? Let's welcome in our special guest who is with us here on the Raritan Bay Medical Center Jersey Newsmaker Hotline. He is the author of the book called Listening as a Martial Art. I'll give a little picture to the webcam crowd of the cover of the book there. And let's welcome in our guest who is with us here, Stephen Cash Nickerson, who joins us this morning. Cash, good morning. It's Bert Barron. How are you?
I'm great, Bert. Thank you.
Great to have you on the show this morning. You know, when I was growing up, Cash, I was told you have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that you remember to listen twice as much as you speak. In this day and age of social media, does that even exist or apply anymore?
It's really hard to find good listeners in today's social media world. Imagine when we were younger, if somebody, while you were talking to them, picked up a newspaper and just started reading. That's the equivalent of somebody picking up their PDA. It's like interrupting someone. You're taking your eye off the body language that they're giving you, which is 70% of communication in many cases. So it's a very challenging time for good listening skills.
Doesn't that drive you crazy? I've even talked to people where I'll be having a conversation and they'll just swivel in their chair back to their computer and start going back through emails again when I'm right in the middle of a sentence. It drives me crazy, and so many people do that, and it's time to kind of get back to doing some good habits. But talk about why the book is called Listening as a Martial Art Form. Why is listening a martial art?
We know that when conversations go awry, we get into arguments, we use terms like sparring and fighting to describe it. And it's physical engagement and verbal engagement have a lot of similarities. And it's a process to get better at it. I have in the book the process to get from a white belt to a black belt in listening.
Excellent. Now, there are skills that involved, and there are certain benefits that come along from being a good listener. What are some of the benefits? How can someone benefit just by simply listening to the people around them?
Studies actually show that people who listen better, sell more. People who listen better have better relationships. People who listen better are more successful. We tend to worship talking, speaking, but in fact, listening is the skill that differentiates the good from the great.
And talk about the role, if you could, that ego plays when it comes to communicating with people. I know over the years, Cash, I'm sure you have too, I've had communications with people that right away they want to jump in and steer the conversation in another direction because they feel that whatever I have to say is nowhere near important as to what they have to say. How do you get ego out of the communication loop?
Well, Bert, you really nailed it. And you can watch someone while they listen to you. Pay attention to their body language. As soon as their head turns or something changes, they're formulating a response. In order to check your ego, maybe your mind's full of lots of issues that you care about. I recommend to people, write down those issues, put them aside before you go to listen to somebody. So check your ego at the door, because if you're thinking about yourself and your ideas, you're not listening to the other person.
Our guest this morning is Cash Nickerson. He's an author and business expert, a brand new book called Listening as a Martial Art. Master your listening skills for success. And there's so much to be gained just by simply listening, whether you're dealing with coworkers, family members, business clients. Just listen to what they have to say for once, and you'll be surprised at what people actually will say to you. Don't give away too much, Cash, but can you just share a couple of tips that are in the book about being successful and how they can kind of help people in their careers just by being good listeners?
Yes. I mean, learning to listen to maybe an angry boss. There's a whole essay about how to handle an angry boss, which happens to us in the workplace. If you handle that right, your boss owes you one, and you get ahead. If you handle it poorly, you just reinforce whatever your boss has been screaming at you or yelling at you about. So it's very important to ask and listen, be a very active listener. As we said, check your ego at the door. You have no idea how much you're missing in life by not listening. I say you only need one resolution for 2016, and that is determine to be a better listener, and my book is designed to help you do that.
Yeah, there's great advice in there, and there's really so many things to be gained just by reading the book. And it sounds so simple, Cash. It really does, but we've really just gotten so far away from that. I mean, I could tell when I'm in a conversation with somebody, or if I'm in a meeting, I know who's tuned into me and listening. I know who's thinking about, where am I going to stop for gas on the way home, or what am I going to pick up for dinner, or yeah, you know what, this guy doesn't even know what he's talking about. This is a waste of my time. If people would just try to focus on, collectively making themselves and making their businesses and making everybody better, it's just incredible the level of success that everybody can enjoy just by listening to people. I know it sounds simple. It sounds like, oh, well, I always listen. Well, no, you don't. And I've tried to make a couple of simple facts, a couple of things that I do, Cash, and this is probably a good advice too. When someone calls me and I'm on the phone with somebody, I immediately stop typing. I stop looking at emails. I stop clicking through emails. I want to focus on what the person on the phone is saying. And there's so many people that if I'm talking to them on a phone, I know they're surfing emails and going through their cell phone and stuff. People might think that the person on the other end of the phone might know that, but they can tell, and they know when you're not paying attention to them.
They can. And as much as it's an insult to the person talking to you, it's an insult and you're hurting yourself. We think we have bad memories, but our memories are wonderful. We just never took it in the first place. We never listened. People who listen well remember really well.
That's true. And you're the top guy at one of the top staffing firms in the country, Cash. You look for people who are good listeners, right? If you're screening an employee or someone who's going to come to work for you and represent your company, how much effort or how much emphasis do you put on their ability to listen before you go ahead and add them to your team?
It's extremely important and it comes out in the interview process, and that's what interviewing is partially about, is what kind of a listener, because in the workplace, you get instructions. In the workplace, you interact with others. We don't live in bubbles. We live around and with each other. And communication skills, 85% of whether you succeed or not.
Eye contact in a conversation, Cash. If you're looking at someone in the eye when they're talking to you, does that help you to engage and help you to focus a little bit more on what they're saying?
Yes, and it sends a message that I respect you, I respect what you're saying, and I'm listening to you, which leads to better communication. So and in fact, when you're talking to someone, if they look away, they've stopped listening to you.
I can tell by the body language that they tuned out. They hit the dial. I can tell. I see that all the time. But New Year's resolution, Cash, for everybody. Try to be better listeners, and they can learn a lot more information in your book. How does someone learn more about you, and how do they purchase a copy of this book?
You bet. It's on Amazon, Kindle, and my website, cashnickerson.com.
Excellent stuff. Well, Cash, thanks for being on the show this morning. Congratulations with the new book, and I really admire your passion. I mean, you're obviously a very successful guy, and you took listening and you applied it, and look where it's taken you. So something just as simple as listening really makes a big difference in your living proof. So I want to thank you for your time this morning, and have a great holiday season, Cash, all right?
Thank you, Bert. It's been a pleasure listening to you.
I like that. Thank you. And it was great listening to you, Cash. Have a great day, my friend.
Thank you.
All right, there he goes. Cash Nickerson, my guest on the Raritan Bay Medical Center Jersey Newsmaker Hotline. That's very good. It's been a pleasure listening to you. That is fantastic. Raritan Bay Medical Center, the home of 3D mammography. 40